This is WIN News.
Tonight, a man accused of bashing a female taxi driver fronts court. Meanwhile, police hunt two men who held up a Rockhampton cab driver at knife point. Good evening. A 33-year-old man has faced court, accused of repeatedly bashing a female taxi driver in Emu Park last month. Sean Power and another man weren't happy today with the attention over the alleged attack on the grandmother.
Lynn Whitty was left bruised, battered and scared after she was allegedly bashed by a customer in Emu Park. Police allege last month's trouble began when the man vomited in the cab, but Lynn still drove him to his Hartley Street home in Emu Park. Police say around 1 a.m. on December 29, the man refused to pay his fare and began smashing the cab before grabbing Lynn in a headlock and punching her repeatedly as she tried to talk to a 000 operator. Sean Power was arrested soon after on 7 charges. Today, the 33-year-old left Yeppoon Magistrates Court with his face covered, accompanied by another man who was not pleased to see a WIN News crew.
Get a real job. Get a real job. Get a real job, you
Mate, we're just saying...
Shut your mouth, you fool. I'll slap the out of you.
Grandmother Lynn Whitty is already back driving taxis.
I did have a lot of trouble sleeping on the right side for nearly about 10 days before I could actually put my head on that side.
The 58-year-old sat listening in court today.
You fall off a horse, you have to get straight back on. You learn that when you're little, out in the bush.
Sean Power's solicitor requested an adjournment to learn more about the severity of Lynn Whitty's injuries and said he planned to make lengthy submissions. The 33-year-old's bail was continued. The case was adjourned to Rockhampton Magistrates Court on February 6th for another mention. Tom Maclean, WIN News.
Meanwhile, two men who violently robbed a Rockhampton taxi driver in the CBD early this morning are on the run from police. One of the armed robbers held a knife to the driver's throat.
It was a sickening attack on one of the community's most vulnerable. A taxi driver who suffers from a disability was called to pick up two men from Bolsover Street around 4:30 a.m. towards the end of his shift. The pair asked to be dropped off in Elmer Lane.
One of the male persons has held a knife to the throat of the taxi driver and has demanded the night's takings.
The man did as the robbers asked but couldn't get a proper look at their faces as the knife was pressed into his throat. The pair fled down Elmer Lane with the money.
The taxi driver is a 57-year-old male and he requires crutches to walk, so he was obviously unable to defend himself or chase those people.
Police say it's lucky he wasn't hurt, but he's obviously still quite shaken from the ordeal.
It's just a blight on those who carry out those sorts of crimes when they attack hard-working individuals such as cabbies in the state of Queensland.
The dog squad was called in but failed to track them down. The short taxi ride has detectives questioning whether it was premeditated.
It may be the case that these people have called the taxi specifically to rob the taxi driver of his night's takings.
Police are currently reviewing nearby city smart cameras to see if there's any footage of the attack. Anyone who might have witnessed anything around 4:30 this morning is being urged to come forward. The men are described as Caucasian, between 18 and 24 years old. Calls can be made to Crime Stoppers anonymously. Ellie, Sibson, WIN News.